Hey there, let's talk about something that so many of us struggle with, getting a truly good night's sleep. If you feel like you've already tried everything under the sun, we're about to explore a pretty different path, one that looks at the mind as the real key to unlocking deep, restful sleep.
Does this question just hit a little too close to home? That awful feeling of just staring at the ceiling, watching the clock tick by, knowing you have to be up in just a few hours. It is so frustrating, and it just drains the life right out of your days.
And I'm willing to bet you've searched for solutions. Maybe you've got a phone full of meditation apps, you've tried different sleep aids, or you've followed every single piece of sleep hygiene advice out there. And yet, for so many of us, a real, lasting solution just feels totally out of reach.
Okay, so here's a really interesting idea. What if the problem isn't about what you're consciously trying to do, but about what your mind is doing on autopilot? This is where this idea of subconscious patterns comes into play. It's like our brains get stuck in a loop, a state of high alert. Maybe it's a pattern of worrying, or replaying the day's events, or even just learning to expect that sleep is going to be a struggle.
And listen, this is absolutely crucial. This is not a failure of willpower. You can't just force your way out of these deep-seated mental habits. In fact, trying to fight your own thoughts at 2 in the morning, that usually just backfires and creates even more anxiety about the whole idea of trying to sleep.
So if willpower isn't the answer, then what is? Well, the approach we're looking at today actually works with the subconscious mind instead of against it. The idea is to use hypnosis as a tool to kind of gently retrain those automatic patterns from the inside out.
This specific approach, called the Olson method, was developed by Daniel Olson, and it's a personalized 3-step process. First, it's all about understanding your specific patterns, the subconscious thoughts or feelings that are keeping you up. Then, based on that, a personalized plan is created just for you. And finally, the goal is to retrain your brain's response, using a state of focused relaxation to help it relearn that your bed is a place for rest, not for anxiety. It's a real shift from just trying to manage the symptoms to getting at the potential root cause.
Now, just for a second, imagine that. Not just waking up, but waking up feeling genuinely refreshed. That kind of rest that makes you feel clear-headed, restored, and just ready.
Because that's the real goal, right? Good sleep isn't just about being unconscious for 8 hours. It's about having the energy to actually enjoy your life, to be present with your family, to be productive at work, and to just stop feeling like you're constantly running on empty.
It all comes down to this simple but really powerful idea. Rest isn't some kind of luxury. It's fundamental to living a healthy, happy life. And the message here is that everybody, including you, deserves to experience that.
So, look, if this whole story of sleepless nights is ringing a bell and you're curious about exploring a different path, one option you might consider is just learning more about this process. It's a way to look into an approach you may not have thought of before.
If you want to find out more, you can visit danielolson.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I wish you a restful night.